Hey, what's going on, man? Talking about getting bigger, man. Talking about filling out those sleeves for picture day. Talking about if you're a skinny pitcher, you need to pack on some muscle for springtime. Bottom line, okay, you're a baseball player, you need to get bigger, but you want to do it the right way. All right, so that's what we're talking about, brother. So here's my take if you're looking to add that armor right before you go into battle. Okay, we're looking for a little thing called hypertrophy. You know, some of you may have heard it, but a little refresher. All right, so hypertrophy, it's essentially just getting bigger, getting the muscle fiber bigger. So the book definition is the enlargement of an organ or tissue, your muscle in this case, from an actual increase in the size of the muscle cells. All right, so typically in the books, we are taught the rep ranges to go for muscle hypertrophy is this 8 to 12 rep range. However, there's a lot of recent studies out there that are suggesting it may be a lot more broad. These studies are showing that optimal muscle hypertrophy gains at the 6 to 15 rep range, or even at a super high rep range like the 12 to 20s, can produce a lot more hypertrophy. So I would say if you're still above that 30 to 35% of your 1 rep max on exercises, you're still going to be in that optimal zone for hypertrophy. Okay, so what this is looking at for hypertrophy is stimulating reps. So this is why the studies may be kind of screwed, okay? If you're using a light weight and you pump out 12 reps and then you're not hitting stimulated reps, which essentially means the harder reps, okay? Muhammad Ali had a quote, "I don't start counting until the reps get harder," okay? And this holds truth here. So you hold a light weight, hit 12 reps, and now is when you start building that hypertrophy, because these last 5 are your hardest reps and these last 5 are those stimulating reps. When we're looking to build hypertrophy, there's really only 3 things we need to look at, all right? So 1 is our metabolic stress, 2 is gonna be our mechanical tension, and 3 is gonna be the muscle damage. Okay, so this is why that 8 to 12 rep range does work, because you are getting all 3 of these things. But for instance, if you're a power lifter, you train in that 3 to 6 low rep category, you're still getting muscle damage. However, you're not getting mechanical tension, or what we call that time under tension. So from the research, I would say for optimal muscle hypertrophy, if we had to put a rep range on it, I would say anywhere from 6 to 15 reps. And it's important that the goal of hypertrophy shouldn't be for a long time throughout your periodization, unless you are a younger kid or if you're new to weight training. If you're a younger ball player, or if you're newer to weight training, you're gonna be able to get away with staying at those higher rep ranges because your adaptation is gonna be more intense compared to the trained athlete. So you're gonna be able to get stronger and more explosive in those higher rep ranges. The lower your training age, AKA the less amount of time that you've been training, the more carryover you're gonna get from that training, that muscle hypertrophy. However, at some point, these gains are gonna start to fall off. Like if you've been training for 2 to 3 years, you probably aren't gonna be able to just do muscle hypertrophy training and still make significant gains in your power and strength. So eventually, sooner or later, you're gonna need to go into more power-based and strength-based training. But in all my programs and the guys that I train, even if they've been training and in the weight room their whole entire life, I like to start them off with the hypertrophy phase, okay? You know, to build that armor before they go into battle. So typically, I like to go hypertrophy and then maybe move them into strength training and then eventually move them into power training, depending on where they are in their yearly training cycle. So, hey man, I hope that helps. If you want to see me break down rep ranges for strength and power, go ahead and leave it in the comments. But in the meantime, brother, keep swinging it, keep chucking it, man. Catch you next time.